neighbors, it's Brad here at eTrailer, and today we're taking a look and installing the MORryde cushion pin box on a 2025 Brinkley Model Z. Now, many OEs are supplying their fifth wheels with the Lippert Rhino Box, and that's kind of the standard one that's out there. So if you have a fifth wheel, more than likely it's either going to be a 1621, or if it's a newer one, the Rhino Box fits a lot of different applications, including our Brinkley Model Z today. And the Rhino Box is going to do a fine job of getting your camper down the road. The difference is if you can upgrade that to something that's going to be cushioned, that's really going to make not only the passengers a lot happier in the truck, but also the contents of your camper a lot happier too, because it's going to cut down on any of that jostling that you're going to have going down the road, cut down on chucking, porpoising, and all of the above, because having a suspension point at your contact or connection point is really just going to translate across the entire towing setup that you have. And today we're going to be putting the MORryde cushion pin box on our Brinkley. Now, the best way to figure out what fit that you need is going to be looking at your original pin box. So ours originally had the Lippert Rhino Box, which is coming standard on a lot of different new manufacturers. And it's a fine pin box, but again, no cushioning. So we did get the Rhino Box fit for ours, but you're just going to want to take a look at your pin box and find the number associated with it. Or if you're having trouble with that, you can reach out to the manufacturer of your camper and figure out exactly which one you have so you can get the fit that's going to bolt up directly to yours. The cushioning is done by having the plate that you can see on the shafts be able to move around. And we have these slide plates on the bottom that make contact. That's going to give you nice smooth actuation as it rotates around. But you have rubber that's inside of here. It's sheer rubber that's going to absorb any of that shock, whichever direction you put it, and it's going to bring it back to the center, really allow for any of that movement to be hampered down by that absorption. All that adds to having 3 inches of front to back movement to absorb that chucking. The side to side is also 1.5 inches. So this is really just going to keep everything nice and smooth and keep all of that vibration and jarring into the suspension of it. And again, that's going to translate across the board to truck and camper. Now, if you're not sure of your GVWR, generally you can go on the side of your camper and there's going to be a tag that you can read out exactly what the weight is. And again, you need to account for anything else that you're loading. So on ours today, just taking a look, we can go down to our GVWR. Ours is 17.695. That's just going to be without anything else loaded. So we did go with a higher capacity one on here, but it's going to be a great application. So at the end of the day, it's, yes, going to be replacing your pin box. Is going to hook up and tow just like you did before, but with cushion installed. So really, most of what I can point out is going to be done out on the road and really feeling it from the driver's seat, which is hard to quantify. So take a look at some of our reviews if you're interested in this and see what people say about it. People that have actually been out on the road, used it long term, and see the difference. Something that you might want to think about picking up at the same time if you don't already have one is a lube plate. This will just slide over our kingpin attachment. That's going to make it nice and smooth on our fifth wheel and really cuts down the need for grease, which is kind of nice, keeps it nice and clean. So we'll just get this slid in, and I'm going to grab my truck and we're going to hook this up, take it out for a ride. We got it all hooked up. We got it to a B&W sliding companion, which is a great fifth wheel. We have a 250, a newer King Ranch. So it's a heavy duty truck. This is a heavy duty trailer. So I think it's going to be a really good application. We're going to hit some bumps out in the parking lot. I'll do some stopping. We should be able to see this actuate. And really all that actuation means that it's not translating into our truck and camper. So let's take it out. More times than not, I love fifth wheels because they can turn well. It puts the weight where it needs to be, but generally that does come with some pushing around on the combo of the truck and trailer. Again, this is a big truck, so normally it can handle this weight no problem, but it's no shortage of clunking around normally, and I'm not really feeling that here today. So I'm gonna get a few more, I'm gonna drive around, hit some curves, and hit the brakes, see what it does, and see if we can tell the difference. First initial thought though is it's already quite a bit smoother. I mean, this is a heavy trailer behind me, and it doesn't really seem like a whole lot. Where normally you hear the doo, 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 and shifting around. I'm gonna hit the brakes here. Oh man, that's a lot better. Normally that trailer's just pushing you and the truck is feeling it. This was nice and gentle, real smooth. Same thing as I'm pulling away. You can feel that start to cushion as it goes. Definitely a huge difference. So we're gonna go hit our bumps course, and that's really where this is gonna shine, especially, you know, out on the highway. You hit the transfer plates on, you know, an overpass or something, and that's where you really start to feel that just chucking. And the problem is it never really has a chance to settle down with a normal application. It's just metal to metal. There's nothing there to absorb it, and that's not the case here. It's gonna cut down that bouncing back and forth every single time, and that's where you're really gonna find a much greater reduction in any of the jarring movements. So kind of accelerating here, I'm gonna get up to, I'm right at 20 miles per hour. We just have speed bumps set up here. Again, this is probably not common that you would just hit speed bump after speed bump, but this is really gonna be a little bit more of an extreme case of something you'd feel out on the road. Now granted, we're not at speeds or anything like that, but yeah, normally at this point with the fifth wheel, it is just pushing you back and forth and back and forth, and that's not the case here. I can still obviously feel the trailer, but the absorption that's happening is really, really good. Our first step was to remove our factory Rhino box, and it's pretty simple. It's just gonna be, you have weld nuts that thread in with the factory bolts. It's gonna be a 15/16 to get those out. The top ones you can get with a wrench on the back side, and I used an impact to draw those out. But the bottom ones, it's a little bit tricky to gain access to the nut to be able to loosen that up. So what I did is I removed the forward ones, and that way that kind of starts to drop out once we take out the back, and then we could slide that pin box down, giving us full access to those nuts to be able to remove them. Now, our MORryde is going to come with new hardware, so you really don't have to worry about saving that hardware, but you can if you want to. And something that you might want to do is with the paint that they put on from the factory once it's installed, they kind of just coat it up. And that means it can get a little bit tight here just with a little bit of buildup of that powder coat. So taking a blade and just kind of scraping this down to where it's nice and smooth is going to allow us to get this box up a little bit easier and slide into place. Now when removing your Rhino box, I went ahead and took away our breakaway switch and our electrical junction box just to get that loose and out of the way. And when it comes to getting your new pin box up, great time to ask your strong friends and get some pizza and beverages to help them lift this up into place. And just as we took it off, my goal is to get this bottom bolt bolted up first, and that way we can get that at least snugged on by hand, and then we can raise the rest of it up by hand. So I'm lucky enough to have a forklift here because I'm doing this by myself. So I'm gonna just slowly raise this up and get our bottom rearmost hole lined up. With this hole lined, we're gonna grab our new hardware, put a flat washer on the head of the bolt. I'm gonna pass this in and just get this started. I'll do the same on the other side, and that way that pin box will hold itself up. So if you're doing this with that extra set of hands, once you get at least two of them kind of passed through, that's gonna hold it in place. You don't even really have to get the serrated flange nut on. We're using the same holes that we originally used on the Rhino box, and depending on your truck and trailer combination, it's a good chance that you might want to adjust higher or lower. Best way to do that is get your camper as level as possible and measure that height, and then you can measure your truck height on your fifth wheel. And if you need to adjust that to get everything level, you can absolutely do that right now. But for our sake today, we're going to be using the same holes. If you can get two of them in place, that's going to keep it from dropping down. But again, the alternative is you let this kind of pivot down and you can just raise up on the kingpin until you get those holes aligned. And we're just going to get the rest of our hardware in place the same way that we did. Same application of the flat washer and serrated flange nut in all of the rest of the holes. We're going to be torquing these down to the torque settings found in the instruction manual, but to save ourselves a little bit of time, I got my impact with a 15/16 socket and a 15/16 wrench. So I'm just going to feed our wrench in to hold the nut in place, and then we'll snug all of these down first. Now it may get a little bit tricky to gain access to these. It's a little tight here, but we'll get them all snugged down. Now, a lot of times those serrated flange nuts are going to bite into the powder coat, so that allows you to, if you can't get a wrench on it, you could just take your impact and zing these down, and it should hold that nut in place. And as I did that, the nut was not spinning at all. Torque these all down with our torque wrench. Now again, with those serrated flange nuts, normally you would want to torque on the nut side, but that's not the case. Those bite in, and so spinning on those with the torque wrench is just going to chew that up and make them spin, potentially even more. So we're going to go on the outside and we're going to get these all torqued down properly. And I'm going to just kind of do a cross pattern. That way it's nice and evenly distributed. Going to get all of our wiring remounted up, and I mean, really, we didn't have to take this off, but I prefer to do that, especially if you have self tappers that run in here. We want to make sure that everything's going to work properly. So taking this off just made sure that it was nice and clean for us to get our pin box in. Now, once you have all of your electrical mounted back up, you've officially installed your MORryde cushion pin box, and you're going to enjoy being out on the road and having this cushion absorb all that shock. And today on our Brinkley Model Z, I think this is a great application to really upgrade that Rhino box from the factory to something that's going to give you a much smoother ride. And that was a look and installation of the MORryde cushion pin box on a 2025 Brinkley Model Z.